Do you know who created the Indian astrology?
Was there like a person?
That is considered the program of your life. If you have a negative program, then you might lose money.
Do you mean that in Indian astrology they would not pay attention to sun?
Sun sign is not that important.
Okay.
The
like,
sign.
Like I'm Cancer. I'm July.
But in my system, you're Aquarius by ascendant, and your moon sign is Libra.
And my own karmic period is 120 years.
Yes.
Oh, does it mean that I can sort of live for 120 years? Can you explain the difference between Western and Indian astrology?
Hello, Adim.
Hello, Puneet.
There are a lot of differences between Indian system of astrology and Western system of astrology. So the biggest difference to start with is, do you know who created the Indian astrology? How it came into existence?
Well, I don't know. Was there like a person?
So what happened? What happened is, in Indian religion, Eastern religion, especially Vedic culture, from where this Jyotish astrology was discovered, it was revealed by Brahma, Lord Brahma. So according to their belief system, there are three main lords. One is Brahma, the creator. One is Vishnu, which maintains the world. And one is Mahesh, which destroys the world. And it goes in cycle. So the astrology was revealed by Lord Brahma. So it was a complete system which was explained that this is an algorithm of metrics. This is how metrics functions, and this is how this knowledge was transferred. And now if we take the Western astrology, then it was found basically like 2000 years BC in Babylonia. That's the first record of this astrology. And the zodiac system, like the 12 zodiac, it was actually discovered around 700 BC in Egypt.
Yes.
And the final main books, like the main Western astrology, that actually appeared around 200 BC by a Greek mathematician. He wrote like 4 big books about astrology. So that's the Western astrology. And Western astrology is...
But originally it was not like revealed as
No.
revelation
Western
to
astrology
anybody?
is discovered. Western astrology is basically developed by observation.
Okay.
And even there is a saying that in Babylonia, they got the idea about astrology by Indians somehow. There is a saying, but there is no historical proof of that. But Western astrology is fundamentally observation and discovery. Indian astrology is believed to be revealed by the creator of this basically universe or existence. That's the number one difference.
Okay.
Number two difference is Eastern religion and Western religion or Western psychology. Let's put it in this manner. So in some sense, East has done tremendously big job in sense of evolution of religion compared to West. West in some sense is limited. I'm not saying West is better or India is or East is, like not from the comparative purpose. Like, I mean, all religion have their place and the founder of all religions are great. But the difference, for example, if we look from the scientific perspective, Indian system believes that world is created around 4 billion years before. So 4 billion years before.
Before.
So there are calculations in the Indian historical books which says the world was basically came into existence 4 billion years before, which goes more with the evolution in some sense, and which makes more sense in terms of calculation compared to what is said in Western main 3 religions which exist in the West. That's the number one difference. Number two difference is it's karmic. So astrology here is karmic.
Like religion is karmic and the astrology is karmic as well.
There could be a karmic religion like, let's say, Hindu religion, and there could be other religions which are not so karmic, like in Eastern, like if we talk about Lao Tse, there is no karma, like in Taoism. So there could be difference in different because there are so many also religion within the East. Like there is a Taoism, there is a Buddhism, there is a Hinduism, there is a Jainism, there is a Sikhism. There are a lot of different branches are there. But in short, what was the idea like of the East is that in a way you're responsible for what you do. So even what you think, it's going to yield fruit, good or bad, in some sense. It is accountable in some sense. So the astrology seems to be the system for the Indian perspective, from the culture, from where this Indian Jyotish, the oldest Jyotish of the world comes, it believes astrology is how everything is calculated, counted in the world. Because whatever you think, whatever you feel, it goes into certain department of your subconscious, and it creates a program how you will receive the frequency. So it's not that when you're thinking one thing, it only have, let's say, like it works like only like a seed, but it also works like a collective vibrations. If you thought about 10 good things, it's a one manifestation. If you thought about 10 bad things, it's another manifestation. And those manifestation, what you are creating, that can be seen through the Jyotish astrology.
So it has something to do with the stars and planets?
It's basically your receiving capacity to start with.
Receiving. Oh,
So
I'm really sorry. I'm kind of sorry. I'm an ordinary stupid person. So receiving what?
So planetary vibrations are passing through
Okay.
the Earth.
Right.
But each person is receiving those vibrations.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like
That's what you
it's like radio frequency are on many different channels.
Okay.
But you are receiving a certain channel according to your setting. That's how I would describe this, your natal chart.
Gotcha.
That's the difference.
Alright.
Now, if we talk about technical differences, like how we calculate, Western astrology is sun-based. Sun.
Okay.
And they very heavily pay, great importance is being paid to sun.
To sun, yeah.
And Indian astrology is moon-based. There are 27 moon mentions called constellation. That is the base of how Indian astrology rotates, the fundamentals of Indian astrology. And that changes everything in some sense because the approach is different. So sun sign for Western astrology is greatly respected. Like you are born in, for example, in November and you're Scorpio.
Yeah.
So Indian astrology, they would pay attention to moon sign, which is like every 2 hours it's changing.
Do you mean that in Indian astrology they would not pay attention to sun?
Sun sign is not that important.
Okay.
So they always shake their prediction based on moon sign. And moon is changing every two hours. So for example, if you need to see your predictions in Indian system, you would see according to moon.
Okay.
So you can be born in November and you could be Aries, you could be Taurus, you could be Gemini, you could be Cancer, you could be any of the sign.
Like I'm Cancer, I'm July.
But in my system, you're Aquarius by ascendant, and your moon sign is Libra. So it can be that big a difference.
Like I can have a different sign. Like if I'm Cancer in Western astrology, in Indian astrology, I would have a different sign.
Yes.
Really? Oh, how come? How does that?
Because there is a tropical zodiac and sidereal zodiac to start with.
Okay.
So how Indian astrology looks at the stars and sky is by sidereal zodiac. So that means they take into consideration the tilt of the Earth, which is every 72 years, 1 degree tilt is moving.
Yeah.
So in Indian astrology, there is a difference of 24 degree. So when in a Western astrology, your sun in Scorpio in 24 degree, it would be in Scorpio only 0 degree, for example. Or it would be in Libra, like let's say last degrees. So even how they see the planet is different. So Indian astrology have sun in Libra generally, when Western astrology have sun in Scorpio. So even how they see where the planet stand is different because of how they calculate. That's the second difference. Third difference, when in a Western astrology, you need to understand what will happen. You pay attention to transit. Mercury is retrograde.
Yeah.
Mercury is in this sign.
Yeah.
Sun is retrograde. In Indian system, you have a karmic period, a personal karmic period.
Personal karmic period of
120 years, which starts at a very unique, this is the circle of 120 years of planetary period. But it starts with a unique set of point according to the time you are born.
Okay.
So that is not there in the Western
No,
astrology.
according to the time I'm born.
Yes. So you will set an algorithm of personal karmic periods. And that helps Indian astrology to be much more accurate and not to depend on transit. And it has a tool which is a karmic period. It's a very powerful tool, and it can make predictions, personal prediction, way more accurate than any other astrology.
Like I have my own karmic period, and my own karmic period is 120 years.
Yes, 9 planet together, 120 years. Yes.
Oh, well, does it mean that I can sort of live for 120 years?
No,
Or like,
no, it does not mean, because, for example, you could have a period of death
Yeah.
at age of 65.
okay.
Eighth house period. Eighth house is a house of death, and that might be the time when you depart. But the circle,
First, one departs.
but the circle of life is considered 120 years.
Okay.
So one circle is considered 120 years.
12. 120 is like, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, for example, like circle, one day is 20 hours, 24 hours.
24 hours. One day is 24 hours.
So that's a unit.
Yeah. that's
Similarly, the unit of life in Indian astrology is considered 120 years.
clear. 120 years.
That's the one round of the planetary periods.
Okay. Is it like calculated astronomically?
No, it's a karmic period. So what it does is that it shows which department of the manifestation. So what happens in astrology? You are born.
Okay.
When you are born, what an astrologer sees? He sees there are 12 departments of manifestation. Like, for example,
Manifestation again.
let's say like what you attract in life.
What I attract in life. So manifestation is what I attract in life.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
let's say
Yep.
department.
We'll call that manifestation.
Okay.
All right.
Let's say first department is your connection with yourself, your body.
Okay.
Second is money and finance. Money,
So
finance
how I attract money.
yeah, money,
how-
finance, family, communication.
Okay.
Third is confidence, traveling, friends, siblings. Fourth is mother, home, vehicles, servants. Fifth is kids, past life, planning. Sixth is accident, overcoming challenges, debt. Seventh is personal life, business partners, public image. Eighth house is death. So these are the 12 houses of different departments. Now, what energy is lying there at the time of your birth, that is considered the program of your life. But in this program, let's say, your fifth house, fifth department.
Oh, you mean this word department is equals to the term house?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 12 department equal to 12 boxes equal to 12 houses.
So you call okay, because we know the word house. So these are the 12 departments with different
Yes.
manifestations.
So 9 planets are in charge of these 12 departments.
Nine.
9 planet.
In Eastern, it's 9.
It's 9 planets.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's say when these 9 planets are activating certain manifestation. So imagine there is a planet which is activating house of money. So that means your whole life in that period, whole attraction, that would be about money. So it would be more easy to make money. If you have a negative program, then you might lose money. But money would become central in that particular years of your life. And that's how the karmic periods decides positive and negative events in your life. So that difference is there. Plus, then there is a difference of, in Indian system, there is a compatibility table.
Okay.
So there are 8 division already created thousands of years before, which decides how a marriage would last. And even you would be shocked, in that table, there is something called genetical compatibility. Most of the people who cannot get, who cannot have children, majority of them you would find that this point, one of the point in this compatibility, that is not compatible. So I have
So
seen
that's concerning the marriage and the relationships.
So concerning the marriage and relationship, they have 8 areas. Out of 8 areas, they have 36 points for the total compatibility. They allow a marriage generally with 18 points. If you have 50% point, but in 50% point, there is a condition. The family expansion genetics should match. Because if genetics are not matching, it's much more harder to have babies or a healthy babies.
Yeah.
So even in my practice, most people who do not have baby or have issue in conceiving, most of them have issue in this particular section of the compatibility table. That is not there in Western astrology, for example. And there are a lot of other tools, which again would be very technical for me to explain, which are there in the Western astrology and Indian astrology. What is good in Western astrology? Western astrology, I think because of contribution of a lot of psychologists, I think psychologically, it became much, much more developed than Eastern astrology. Eastern
Psychologically?
Eastern astrology is about production. When you will marry,
Okay.
when you will marry, which year, what will happen to you. So in terms of planning, because they have this karmic period, they became much, much more accurate, and most of the people comes to know what will happen to me. And that part there became very, very developed. Though the psychological part about like understanding who you are, and in terms of understanding your relationship with the inner mother, inner father, they did not do a big work
In
Indian astrology,
Indian
because it was not needed
okay.
in some sense.
No.
But what I do, what system I created, that is the intersection. What is the best of Western astrology is taken, and what is the best of Jyotish that is combined with that, and created a new latest version of how a Jyotish astrology can be used for a deep psychological analysis and understanding.
So you mean you take a lot of psychology into your practice of Eastern astrology?
Eastern astrology it had the tool, but they did not interpret.
Okay.
So I just created an algorithm based on my experience, and I started to give the interpretation which they were not providing. The tools was there, understanding was there, they just did not look in this direction. And I did this work for several years since I was practicing in the Western countries, and I found it very useful, and I created this new system in the Jyotish astrology, Astroprofile basically.
Astroprofile. Oh, that's what Astroprofile
Yes.
is. Yeah. Sorry, but I I would like to come back to another very simple thing. Maybe it's not simple at all. But you mentioned that, like in Western astrology, I am one sign. Like I am Cancer. In Indian astrology, I'm a different sign. And you mentioned something about 2 hours
Yeah.
period. So how come? How do I understand that I'm which sign I am
So
in
what
Eastern?
what you can do is, we have a mobile application called
Right.
AstroCoach. You can go on that mobile application. You can put your birth detail, and you can see what actually you are, what moon sign you have in Indian astrology, what rising sign you have in Indian astrology. All those details you can get for free on our mobile application.
Okay. Okay.
So, to conclude, the biggest difference here is from where it comes, what was the psychology behind. One is still work in progress in some sense. Though psychological side of Western astrology, I think they did a fantastic work. But overall, the tools which Indian astrology has, I think nobody has. In my opinion, honestly speaking, Indian astrology is definitely much, much more deeper, and like I think it's very powerful.
More developed.
Yeah,
and
more
powerful.
developed. And
All right. Thank you so much.
so guys, if you like our video, and if you have some questions, then please put in comment what next video you would like to have. So we'll be happy to make a next video according to what interests you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you.